A very warm welcome at the Spin-off Austria Conference 2024. We are very happy to welcome all of you behind your screens to this year's conference, and I'm also very happy to guide you through this afternoon together with Dejan Jovicevic, the founder of Brutkasten. As salesperson, as a spokesperson from ABLSB, we're very happy to welcome all of you here. And Dejan, as it is the 5th issue already, Brutkasten joined from the very beginning. Are you as excited as I am?
Lisa, it's fantastic to be here with you. Thank you that we can do this together. Dear community, it's wonderful to be here again. The 5th time. It's crazy how the time flies, really. We did this from the very beginning. Such an important conference, such an important message and content that we're producing here. And I'm really happy that we're doing this together with you. How are you doing?
Very fine. I'm curious how you are feeling getting into this call, into this session. And I can tell you can be excited for today's afternoon and also for the evening, because there will be exciting keynotes, speakers, and discussions throughout the day.
Indeed, you put a lot of work onto this program. It's a lot of value there, and we want to push this topic as it is really relevant for our ecosystem. We also want to invite you to interact with us. Please use the chat that you have on your right-hand side of the screen for Slido, for questions, for chatting with other people, for posting Q&As to our panels. We'll be using that chat to really interact with you. That worked wonderfully in the previous year, so I'd like to invite you to really interact with us, post questions, make discussions, and just really put your input into this conference. And so let's start with the first Slido question that we prepared. You will see it and find it on your right-hand side in your chat. We want to ask you, what are your expectations for this event? Just type your word. We're going to create a word cloud on that, so we're really curious to find out more about that. Lisa, in the meantime, I'd like to ask you, we have a new setup this year around the Spin-off Austria conference, fantastic setup. And what are the goals, what are the expectations from your side for the conference?
Yes. Thank you very much, Dejan. And while you are also typing into the chat and answering your expectations for the day, we did this question at the very beginning because we assumed that people are starting to get into the call. So feel free to type the first answers. I see already the answers. And in the meantime, I'm happy to give some more insights into this year's Spin-off Austria Conference 2024. Initiated, as we mentioned before, 5 years ago, from Herbert Gardner, Hermann Hauser, and Jasmin Günger, and the institutions behind. We are very happy that this year, on the very first time, we are allowed to organize this year's conference through Academia plus Business, A plus P. And last year we started to discuss what will be the next steps in the spin-off area. And the startup tech incubator network, of course, our aim is to support startups and spin-offs. And therefore, we thought it would be great to support the spin-off initiative and to organize this year's conference, and we are very happy to do so in the first year.
What do you think is the relevance, the impact of spin-offs for our ecosystem in general? Why are we talking about this topic?
Yes, it is. It is an important issue, as I would say all of you in the call know, and in the online session. Having knowledge in the universities, which is also the topic for today, and bringing it also into companies which are funded here in Austria and beyond. Of course, this can have a growth and impact for the whole economy.
In terms of this year's conference, how were the preparations? How did you feel about it? How did the new consortia, new setup work together?
Yes. We are, of course, very happy that having partners from the beginning also behind us, which means they're supporting us, gave us all the knowledge and the input from the previous year. Thank you for that. But we're also having a lot of partners supporting us. We do see them on the slides. We will also talk with them later, more in detail. And this helped us, of course, to develop, to organize this year's conference.
Did you have any content focus for this year's conference, or are we looking into a broad scope of topics that we need to discuss?
Yeah. Every year, as it was also in the previous year, there's a certain topic, and so we thought it would be also interesting to have another topic this year. Navigating through the IP structure in universities. That's this year's topic, and that is what we are talking today about. Which means let's have a look at the IP structure of universities, how it is in an international aspect, which means in Europe mostly to be discussed today, but also in Austria, how is the current situation and what we can use for us here in the region.
Lisa, before we have a look, what are the expectations of our audience regarding this conference? Don't look. What are your personal expectations? What do you wish from your perspective for this conference today to happen?
Yes. I really like the format itself, as we're having a mixture of online event and also in the afternoon or in the evening meeting in presence. And I think that's a great combination to have more knowledge, insight, and discussion during the day, and of course a lot of networking in the evening.
Fantastic. Now let's have a look. What are the expectations for this conference from our audience? The biggest one, insights. Great. I think we have a lot of those. What do you think?
Yes, hopefully.
IP value, spin-offs, inspiration, very important part of such conferences. Standard IP contracts. Do we have any samples that we can provide at the end? Maybe not, but for sure we have some key players in the ecosystem who can do that. We have a strong know-how in the ecosystem, so please feel free also to chat. If anybody has standard IP contracts, just ping somebody or write it in the chat so that we know. Zukunft, so the future, information, exciting keynotes, current experiences and future plans, best practice of IP agreement with uni, connecting with others. A lot of things that I think we can fulfill and deliver.
Thank you for giving so many insights. When we are looking on the site, it's because we are reading all your answers, and there, as Dejan said, a lot. Hopefully, we will meet also a lot of them. We will ask and have a look at it also again later to compare them. And I would say, let's get some insights.
Perfect. So thank you to our team. We can close this questionnaire. And Lisa, I think you have the first video that you prepared. Maybe you can share it with our audience.
Happy to do so. As I mentioned previously, the Spin-off Austria initiative and conference was initiated by important people that saw the opportunity to create the spin-off ecosystem and develop it further, to have a great flourishing floor ground for spin-offs and startups. And therefore, I'm very happy that Hermann Hauser, one of the initiators, sent us also a video message.
Liebe Teilnehmer der Spin-off-Konferenz Österreich. Als Herbert Gartner und ich vor einigen Jahren die Spin-off Österreich-Konferenz initiiert haben, hätten wir uns nie träumen lassen, dass sich Spin-offs in Österreich so positiv entwickeln werden. Der Unterschied zu Amerika und England ist noch immer groß, aber die Distanz hat sich in den letzten Jahren erstaunlich verringert. Und wir freuen uns, dass wir im richtigen Weg sind, 1000 Spin-offs bis 2030 zustande zu bringen. Das Thema dieses Jahr ist IP Terms for University Spin-outs. Das ist ein Thema, mit dem ich mich schon 30 Jahre lang befasse, und es freut mich, dass es dieses Jahr einen Report gegeben hat in England von der Universität Cambridge und Universität Oxford, die ganz klare Richtlinien für englische Universitäten zeichnet, wo klar beschrieben wird, dass die Universitäten oft zu große Prozente der Spin-offs haben wollen und eben die Empfehlung abgeben, dass dieser Prozentsatz zwischen 5 und 10% liegen soll. Es liegt mir sehr am Herzen, dass die Verhandlungen recht kurz oder gar nicht existieren, weil man eine Formel verwenden soll, sagen wir 8% für alle IP, die ein Startup braucht, ohne Verhandlungen. Es ist nämlich wesentlich wichtiger, dass diese Spin-outs schnell funktionieren, dass es nicht oft jahrelang dauert, bis man sich auf die IP einigt, sondern dass die Entwicklungen an unseren Universitäten schnell umgesetzt werden. Ich wünsche euch alle eine erfolgreiche Konferenz und freue mich auch wieder nächstes Jahr dabei zu sein. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you very much. Hermann already gave us insights and some glimpse into the topic, the navigation of IP terms. And now we get into more details. Dejan, what can we expect next?
Well, we are having a keynote that will start shortly, but before we do that, we want to ask our audience one more question, namely, which group are you a part of? So we want to know where you're from. Are you from universities? Are you a founder? Are you a public interest investor, corporate? Just so we have a glimpse of you as an audience, so that we know who are we actually talking to today. And I'm really curious where are you from? Lisa, just one aspect of Hermann's speech that I'd like to pick up. He said positive development of the topic in Austria. You think the Spin-off Austria conference has an impact? Did we contribute to making this topic more relevant on a broader scale?
Mm-hmm. Of course, we need to have a look at the numbers to have the value behind that we can say the initiatives also pay off. And having, for example, a look at the numbers, for example, from Austrian Startup Monitor, there is a slightly increase, having around 24% of spin-offs in Austria, and hopefully we can take a contribution to further extend the number.
Fantastic. Now let's have a look which groups of people do we have with us today. 35% universities, 29% public institutions, 16% others, 12% founders, 8% investors, and I don't really see the corporates, how many percentage do they have, but 2%. Is that what you expected? Universities mainly presented. I think we have the topic for them today, actually.
Yes, actually, I'm happy to see it, because as it is the target group for the Spin-off Austria Initiative and Conference in general, but also especially for the topic today, we are happy to welcome 36% of the participants from the universities, but also from public institutions, founders, investors, corporates, and others. I mean,
we've been discussing this topic, and I think it's super important that we have a vibrant and good ecosystem of many stakeholders that Spin-off requires. University is one of them. Public institutions, super important to provide funding, to connect people, to have the early access. Do we have this ecosystem in Austria?
We're having an ecosystem, but I think an ecosystem is something that is always developing and always changing. You're having new players, you're having players that do not exist anymore, you're having new people behind the institutions, so it is steadily changing. And like with every ecosystem, it is in change and we have to work on it. So we have to keep on track for the whole topic to improve it.
And this year conference is one of the contributions to this goal that we encourage universities, that we share know-how, that we encourage founders, that we encourage researchers to go that way, that we encourage investors, that we encourage corporates to get into this ecosystem, so that we, as Europe and as Austria, can really compete on the international level. I think that's one of the aspects that we need to really stress out.
Of course, definitely, because we are having an increasing number, and as Hermann already said, there is a slightly increase we are seeing, but of course, if we compare to other regions, there is more space to go.
And we'll catch up, don't worry, if we really kind of all work together.